after the Sandy Hook shooting years ago, Alex Jones said some pretty awful things. He accused the parents of several of the children who were murdered at Sandy Hook of being crisis actors and claimed that Sandy Hook was a hoax, that it was staged, that it was something the government had done or pretended to do in order to push the United States towards gun control. Obviously, a conspiracy theory, obviously false, pretty disgusting. And to say something like that, especially about specific individuals in the wake of them losing their children, especially in such a horrific way. Every way to lose a child is horrific. This is a particularly horrific. So he was sued by these parents for defamation, and a court just found that he's liable for $4 million in compensatory damages and $45.2 million in punitive damages. This is just to two family members. $45 million. That's a whole heck of a lot of money. And so this is what I would say. This is what I will say about Alex Jones. And this is what I think it's very important for conservatives to understand. Alex Jones was once the canary in the coal mine for the left. When big tech first started cracking down on conservatives and free speech, they first went after Alex Jones. Alex Jones was one of the first people to get permanently suspended from Twitter and permanently kicked off of Facebook because big tech knew that nobody really wanted to defend what Alex Jones was saying because the things that he was saying were so either wacky, weird, or just downright wrong. And most people have a great and proper aversion to being associated with or being accused of being a conspiracy theorist. This is a good part of human nature. Now, the left, of course, has redefined conspiracy theorists. They've tried to accuse us of being conspiracy theorists when we aren't. And so the term has lost a little bit of its punch because, the boy who cried wolf, that again. But Alex Jones was the canary in the coal mine because conservatives didn't want to go to his defense because they didn't want to have the left point their finger at us and say, oh, you're defending Alex Jones. You too must believe that frogs are turning gay and that Sandy Hook was a hoax. No. Defending someone's right to say offensive things is a bedrock of free speech. That's what free speech is. It doesn't mean that you are defending the words that person is saying. You are defending the right of the person to say that. But it's very easy for the left to conflate the two. And that's why a lot of conservatives didn't want to come to his defense. Alex Jones, there were very, very few conservatives who identified, and rightly so, that Alex Jones was the canary in the coal mine for big tech censorship, and that once the left moved the Overton window past Alex Jones, it would slowly creep towards the center, slowly creep towards mainstream conservative thought. And that's where we are today, where it's actually past mainstream conservative thought. It's encroaching on science when it comes to COVID or transgenderism. It certainly has gone past election integrity. Alex Jones is the canary in the coal mine again, because $45 million in punitive damages is outrageous. This is the weaponization of cancel culture by the government. Cancel culture is bad enough when it's a cultural phenomenon. But when the government is taking part in this, this is absolutely outrageous. I understand that these parents are private citizens and the standard for defamation of private individuals, meaning not elected politicians and not public figures, is much lower. Or rather, the standard for defamation of public figures, politicians, celebrities, it's much higher. Even so, you can think that this speech that Alex Jones engaged in was defamation. That's fine. But $45 million? No. This is what the left wants to do to everyone who disagrees with them. This is a message that the left is sending, that if you engage in speech that we don't like, we will destroy you. Is this not cruel and unusual punishment? This is not, okay, you were convicted of defamation. Here's a fine, slap on the wrist, maybe a little punishment, and go on your way. This is financial destruction for the rest of your life. This is you being erased from the industry where you have made your living. We're not even talking about a violent crime here. We're not talking about murder. We're not talking about assault. We're not talking about rape. We're not talking about robbery. These were words. And the government is destroying Alex Jones financially completely because of words he spoke.